Hey, everybody. Welcome to Love and Relo, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross, and I am so blessed and honored today to bring my good friend, my spiritual spirit animal, on the show today. Janna Macik is going to join us. She's an immigration expert, career strategist, global mobility expert, leadership development. She has a phenomenal weekly broadcast called Powering the Unique You, which I had the honor of being on earlier in the year. She's just phenomenal. If you're not familiar with Janna, you should be. So you're in the right place today. I'm very excited to bring her out. So let's go ahead and without further ado, let's hear from my good friend, Janna Macik. How are you today?
Yay, Ben. Hello. So excited to be here on your show today. So long due. And I'm so humbled and so grateful for what you're doing here in the relocation world, really bringing the voice to the industry, and just for amazing the energy that you bring to the conversations every day.
Thank you so much, Janna. I appreciate that so much, and you're such an inspiration as well. I mean, we've gotten the opportunity to do a lot of things together over the last, not even that long, like 4 months. I feel like we've done a lot together, and I hope that we continue to build on that and do so many things, And love your energy, love your positivity, love your spiritual connectedness, and so just so excited to have you on today. If you're tuning in, we got some people coming in right now. Let's go ahead and welcome them to the show. I always like to give people some shout outs. So as you're joining us right now, go ahead and give yourself a shout out. Let's know where you're at. There you go. Hit that heart button. It's Love and Relo. It's Friday. Let's get some love going. Janna's got that wonderful color red just popping right now. I love it. And oh, this is great. We got 13 people on LinkedIn right now and more hopefully coming on. Let's see. People are coming in. Sandra Clary. Hi, Ben and Janna. This will be great today. Sandra's so awesome. Talking about encouragement too. Sandra's just always there.
She's
encouraging.
Amazing. Yes.
She really is. Vinny Valverde. Hi, Ben and Janna. Hope all is well. Cheers from Colorado. Yes. Oh, that's right. You took a flight with your family. That's right. How did that go? Yes, I arrived in Colorado last night and will be spending next week at my old grounds. Much love to all. Vinny, that's great.
Awesome.
Nicole Barilli. Hi, Ben and
Nicole.
Janna. Nicole's awesome too. I haven't seen Nicole in a while.
She's joining you from me.
Yeah, I know. Really, that's great. Henri, Ben and Janna on the same show. I'm having double vision. I think there's a little.
We're going to rock it this Friday. We're going to make it fantastic for you. So if you don't share yet this episode, click that button, share it. It's going to be phenomenal today.
Yes, please do share. Look at you. Thank goodness you're here right now because I'm like forgetting all my talking points and you're coming in with energy. You're coming in with like some instruction. I love it.
Ben, it is a breeze. I don't have to drive it. I'm just here like, yay. I don't drive this thing. I'm just enjoying.
I know it's so much easier to be a guest. People have no idea, okay? They have no idea how hard it is to host these things and think of questions while you're reading comments at the same time and trying to remember to smile and bring energy. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so hilarious. Okay, thank you so much. You can sympathize. I appreciate it, Janna. Let's see here. We got Stephen here, or is it Stefan?
Hi,
Janna,
Stefan.
hello from Montreal. Oh, that's nice. All right, cool. Francine Dresty, hi, Ben and Janna and Janet. Casey Gale checking in from PC Housing in San Diego.
Hey, Casey.
Oh, look at this.
Johanna, you're joining in late, girl.
I love it.
She's here from me too.
Yeah, this is great. These are like all our friends too that we did a project with.
I'm almost in tears. So exciting. Oh, this is so exciting. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in and supporting. This means so much.
Paula Holloway. Hi, Janna, represent SRC.
Hey, honey. I'm sure Nicole is on the beach.
Nicole confirmed your suspicions. Yes, I'm here for Janna. Just Janna.
Yep.
It's cool. Nicole got enough of me during Mobility Jeopardy. She's like, if I don't ever have to talk to that crazy guy ever again.
She's awesome. She saved you so many times.
She did. I love it. You're right, though. That's why it's funny. Nicole Barilli, Hart. That's great. Mena from Dubai.
Mena, hi. You're late too, girl.
Don't
drink coffee so late.
This is like
so
a class
fantastic.
reunion. Isn't this feel
This
like,
is so awesome.
oh, Laura Gazian here.
Hi,
Hi.
Laura.
Lisa
Hi,
Thomas from
Lisa.
Ann Arbor. Great. Well, we got about 25 people on here.
Fantastic.
Let's just hop right into it. Keep leaving those comments here. We'll take questions as well. I think Janna's always got some like very deep, very thoughtful stuff. So go ahead and ask questions. She's got a great perspective and outlook. We got 22 people on LinkedIn. This is fantastic. So let's just hop right into it. Janna, I got a whole list of things I want to ask you about, but I want to kind of throw this out the window. And I want to talk about something totally different, okay? Because that's what life does, right?
Don't throw it completely out of the window. We may touch on some of that, but I think, it's a little bit of a different things than what we pre-planned. So let's dive in right away.
I mean, that's life, right? I mean, you're just kind of going about your business one day, and then something just boom happens, right? And you know, it's your story to tell. But I mean, this week really threw you a curveball. I mean, you want to share with people what happened?
Yes. Well, I, as you may know, if you know me, if you've been following me, if you've been in touch, if not, click that connect button. I would love to see you as my connection and much more to build a relationship with you. Let's connect. Let's make it happen. Well, I've been with APR Energy for 4 years, and that was a power plant building company. We built power plants all over the world, and I worked as a global staffing and mobility manager. I love the company, love what we were doing worldwide, and love supporting the employees, have amazing, amazing team worldwide. Well, the company has been going through a lot of things, a lot of changes, and I think unexpected in a way to many. The announcement was made and the decision was made to restructure the company, and about 70 people have lost their job this Wednesday, and one of those was I. So the first reaction to that is like, I'm one of millions. Okay. And I want to give you a perspective to that. I'm one of millions. And one of the things that I did for the company is also global recruiting. So I would go out, we will have a power plant project in Puerto Rico, in Mexico, in, Senegal, Equatorial Guinea, the one we did last year, you name it. And my role was to go and find global talent to serve for those and operate those power plants. And, and one of the tools I used for LinkedIn is a recruiter tool. Mm-hmm. So I would go and I recruit people, I'll look through people. So one of the things I've looked this week, actually, and I just checked in and looked at some of the things, 35 million people mark themselves on LinkedIn as
really 35 million.
Well, Ben, sadly to say, 70 more just added a couple of days ago to that 35 million. I am affected, yet I want to say probably you, the one that is listening and watching this, might be in the same seat, might be wearing the same shoes. You might have lost it 2 months ago, 3 months ago. And who knows, today, tomorrow, Monday, many more people might lose their jobs. Now, what do we do about it? Are we becoming a victim? Are we now saying, oh, shame on me? Maybe I could have done something. Maybe I should have done something. I don't have a value anymore, especially if you attach your identity and your worth to your role, right? That
and I think so many of us do that, right? They're like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm the vice president of business development. Well, like that's what I do with my day job, but I'm so much more. But we tend to attach our identity to our job title.
Yeah, Ben. And I can tell you, I had these evil talks in the back of my head. It's like, oh my gosh, I had all these amazing people on LinkedIn. I built this community and all these people wanted to connect with me because I was global mobility staffing manager. And now that I'm nobody in a way, nobody's going to want to talk to me. Nobody's going to want to see me. Nobody's going to want to connect with me.
We love you, Janna. We love you.
And I can tell you, if you have these thoughts in the back of your mind, throw them away and out of the window. It's a lie. You are so much more than just your role. And then as a believer, I firmly believe that things happen for a reason. And sometimes we do not see and do not know what exactly when we're in the midst of the situation. Yet I do believe that when one door's closing, there are many opportunities that can be opened up, and it's our ownership to make that happen. So, if you're in the same shoes, if you're in the same seats, don't be discouraged. Let's just take the ownership and change the world and create many opportunities for ourselves.
I love it. I love your attitude on this. I want to talk about this. I want to dwell on this just for a moment because it's to your point. There's 35 million people out there on LinkedIn right now that need to hear this message. Hopefully a couple of them have tuned in. You know, you're getting so much love right now. Nicole Barilli sending love. You know, Christina, you know, kind of, you know, surprised, I think. You know, Georgia made a comment here, and I think it kind of goes back to what we were talking about. And I want to sit here for a moment too,
Yes.
right? She says it's hard when our identity is work.
Yes.
I want you to talk about this because it's a short statement, but there's a lot here.
Yeah. And I can unwrap this in a way that that I've seen, and that was an awareness for me through one of the assessments or tools that I'm certified in. And based on that, thousands of people have taken the assessment, and there are three categories of people. There are one category of people that see themselves as abstract. So let's say I'm just one of a person out of billions. And if you see it as a forest and say, I'm just one of a tree in a forest, you know, I just function here, you know, I'm just here. So 30% of people see themselves as abstract, and they not quite see their value. I don't think they appreciate themselves as much. They don't discover what they're passionate about. They kind of rolling, so to speak, in life. Now, 60% of people identify themselves with roles, and that's a majority of us. And that means that you, in a way, attach your identity to your role. And for most of us professionals, it happens to be our work. Well, we play many roles in our lives. We have a role of spouse, we have a role of parent for those who have kids, we have a role of child, you know, we have parents, we have a role of friends. So there are many roles in our lives, yet the professional role is the one that is most impactful. And we tend, through our years of when we function as adults, to pour a lot of energy and effort and time into our career, into our profession. And then what happens is, if that role is taken away, that almost like our identity is taken away. So if you look at it from the tree perspective, you say, well, I'm an apple tree in the forest, and my job is to bear apples every year. And what happens if I don't have apples this year? I have no idea what I'm going to do with myself. So that's a really impactful thing to know, because you can identify with yourself. And there was a discussion that, back in 2008 and 9, when many people like this right now, the situation where I lost their jobs, they didn't want to meet new people because they didn't know how to introduce themselves.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have the job anymore attached, or the title attached to them.
That's right. What do you say when you're at a party and somebody says, so, Ben, what do you do? And you're like, well, gosh, I'm between opportunities. I consult, people come up with these things, right?
So I say my personal goal, and that may be of value to you, is to start developing yourself, and start developing yourself in many roles. And then the third thing that people see themselves is unique, and it's only 10%, a small percentage. Those are the people that put a lot of effort in the personal development. They seek different passions, they seek different values, they make an impact in the world, they volunteer, they have a causes for their life, and their job is just one part of their life, one part of their journey, yet they disperse and give their energy to other causes that they're passionate about, and they believe they do make an impact in their life, in other people's lives, apart from their job. So when their job is taken from them, they do have those outlets that they can pour into, and they still feel valuable and significant. And that shows you can be an apple tree. And if today, this year you don't have an apples, well, guess what? You blossom in the spring, and there is a beautiful blossom. You give house to the animals, and seeing yourself in such a way is almost like a development path. And you can see whether you have those outlets, or maybe you need to start creating them to help yourself feel valuable and help yourself feel unique, because you are.
I love it. I love the analogy of the apple tree. The third category seems like the place that we are meant to dwell in, right? To be unique. And I love the fact that is kind of the name of your show as well, right? I can tell
it's your, of it, by the way.
It's your purpose, right?
That's a little story behind it.
And we'll plug it too. We'll plug it and we'll let people know where they can tune in for that. But how does that person who dwells in category 3 as a unique person, how does that person introduce themselves at a cocktail party? Someone says, "Hi Ben, what do you do?"
Yeah. So like right now, my situation, right? I don't have the title of staffing and mobility manager anymore. Yet I am a passionate empowerment enthusiast. I love empowering myself, finding ways how can I empower myself, be more energetic, more positive, more upbringing, and how can I empower you? Listening to the show, how can I bring some joy into your life, right? I'm very passionate about that. Then I'm very passionate about helping people with their career development, seeing their potential in themselves. A lot of people, they have this potential, amazing skill set, yet they value themselves in this level. And no wonder if you think you're only good for specialists and $45,000 a year, I am as a recruiter not going to come and offer you a director role with $150,000 a year because you don't see your value, you don't see your possibility, you don't see your capability. So it starts with your own vision of your potential, of your possibilities. And then I'm doing the show. So I can say, if nothing else, I'm the host of Power and Unique Show because I created that out of nowhere. So you could do something like this, something where your outlet come. And back to my SRC friends, I volunteer for Southeastern Regional Relocation Council. I love supporting the organization. I love providing education to the Southeast here in the United States. And, so there are many outlets. Of course, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a believer. So I have many faucets, many, so to speak, buckets that I like pouring into and developing with intention.
You are super intentional about your personal development, and you're super intentional about other people's personal development too. And that's one of the things that really drew me to you, and I felt so simpatico with you is because it's that thought of empowering other people, and we've worked on some things that were really cool together, and I can't wait to do more with you. We got some great comments coming in. What you're saying, your message is really resonating with people, and I think it's felt. Vinny says, Janna, being affected by a reorganization in the past, one thing is surround yourself with people that love you, respect you, and make you grow. You have a family here in Love and Relo. Count me for anything.
Oh, thank you, Winnie. So sweet.
Isn't that so sweet? And isn't it so cool? And you get the same. I know you get this every week when you do your show, right?
Special from Love and Relo. There's more love on your show than on mine. Mine is like, go, get it done. Yours is like all about love, a little bit of relocation, but all about like pour love into people.
Well, that's why I put it in the title because I didn't ever want to forget it. Because I knew my mentality, because I'm kind of like alpha, I'm kind of like type A, I'm kind of like aggressive. I was like, if I don't put love in the title where I have to say it in the beginning of every show, then it forces me to reframe because I know myself. I'm counterbalancing my own instincts, frankly, and so that's my own little pneumatic. But Vinny's here for you, with these big verbal hugs.
Oh.
Yeah. Pierre, we want to talk to you. That's why we were listening to you at 10 p.m. our time on a Friday, nonetheless, Pierre.
It means so much to me.
Jeez,
Thank you
Pierre.
so much for the support.
Pierre, get a life, man. It's 10 o'clock on a Friday, man. Go do something fun.
Come on. Don't get jealous. Come on.
Henri says, we still want to talk to you, Janna, especially if you're a nobody. Oh, gosh, Henri. Oh, that's funny. Oh, he's just kidding.
I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get as many sales call requests though from relocation companies.
Seriously, what are you going to do with all that spare time now that nobody's just
amazing people around the world, and I'm making progress toward that, and it's really exciting to expand that reach, expand your network, and you have to be intentional about that.
And that's what we're gonna get to that too. Jackie Rowan says this is a big issue for trailing spouses. It happened to me and was a shock.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, really. Henri says we're so much more than what we do. Joanna says agree. Molly checking in. Hello from Jacksonville.
Molly. Hi, neighbor.
Yeah, there you go. Jamie Massler. Hi, Ben and Janna. Cheers from warm and breezy Mississippi. Bruce Waller, who was on yesterday, says impact. Love your message.
Thank you, Bruce.
Scott Williamson. Hello, Ben and Janna from Dallas. Rory checking in. Henri says COVID-19 is hitting all of us wherever we are. It also pulls us all together, and there is much good in that. Don't you feel, or I should ask, do you feel like people's empathy is greater right now, that their empathy muscle has been flexed and been in shape now from the last few months. I just sense that people are just a lot more open and empathetic. Do you feel that, or
I
am I
agree
making
with
that up?
you, and you're not making it up, Ben. I
Mm-hmm.
do believe that we all, because we have many similar experiences right now, right? We have many similar constraints. We've made these resolutions and hope for this year, and they get shattered for each one of us, in one way or the other. Some, left or lost the loved ones, some are struggling financially, some were, out of jobs. And in all of these uncertainties, and if you look at our industry in general, the industry itself is being shaken in a big way, right? If you look at the companies, many companies struggling, some industries are doing well, but most of the smaller businesses are struggling. So in all of this, I do believe that empathy is a way, and always, you don't know what other person is going through. Always extend a kind hand,
Mm-hmm.
always extend a kind heart to see how can you add value to other people, how can you support them. I do believe that when you pour goodness into the world, it will come back around to you in one way or the other.
What is it about? Why do you constantly volunteer yourself, and why do you constantly serve others? Because this is I've gotten to know you fairly well, and I can tell that this is a core belief for you. Where does that come from, and why is that such a passion for you?
It's a good question, Ben. I haven't thought about where the passion is coming from. I think that I enjoy. This is something that brings me joy. And this joy is really not outward. Sometimes when we get something outwardly, it does give us some type of an enjoyment, but it's temporarily. But when you make a difference in other people's lives, when you make a difference in the employee's life that you work with, whether it is your colleague, whether it is someone you've just met, when you know that by extending a good word or advice or whatever you can, but whatever you can add value to the people, then those people will benefit and it will help them along the journey. It just brings a lot of joy to me inwardly. And I think it's in a way a little selfish because I do enjoy it so much. And I love seeing people blossom. I love seeing people wake up and say, oh my goodness, I'm meant to be so much and I'm sitting here struggling. One of the things I'm doing, I'm volunteering on LinkedIn. There's a way for you to seek advice, free advice on LinkedIn. And what I put in there is I'm giving advice on global HR and development and things like that. And every week I have 6 or 5 people, random people sending a request for advice. And I've seen women and some men, but mainly women that have bachelors, that have master's degrees, and they're in an entry-level job that they hate for 6, 7, 8 years. And their
Wow.
question is, what do I do to go next? What do I do to grow for the next promotion? And it comes to
Yeah,
realize to me, those are intelligent, amazing people. I mean, hey, get your MBA is not an easy thing. It's not like an overnight thing.
sure.
Yet there's something that puts them on the internal evaluation. And that came back to our beginning of our conversation. They value themselves, that they're not worthy of that. And then they don't start growing themselves personally, because one thing is to get education in your head. There's a lot of courage required for you to start growing personally, to start really investing in yourself, not just mentally for your profession, but it's for your holistic development.
Yeah, so agreed, right? And so what specific advice do you tell someone like that, and people that are stuck, right? I mean, I remember a point in my career where I was stuck for several years at a company where I felt undervalued. I felt like there was a hard ceiling on where I could go, but yet I was stuck, and for some reason I was afraid to leave, even though I was making like 35 grand a year. I don't know what I was afraid of, right? But I was stuck.
Yeah, well, there are a few things to that, and being afraid to leave a lot of times to insecurity with your finances. So when your finances are, in a messy situation and you're struggling and you're deep in debt and credit cards and you're just trying to cover up, to survive, you're not going to venture on and seek something more fulfilling and more creative because you're struggling. You're struggling with your finances. So you're just in that survival mode week by week, month by month, year by year. And I've been there as well. 10 years ago, I've been in that survival mode. And then maybe the other reason why I'm so passionate about it, because I've walked in the same type of a, lived in the same type of a scenario and the same type of feelings of being stuck. So what helps is really what helped me even this week I've learned is learning what do you want to achieve in your life first, seeing potential for yourself. It's looking outside of your immediate circle and say, what is that I want?
And having that and having that courage to dare to even see yourself as this, right? Because I mean, to your point, you have to be able to dream it before you can achieve it, right? You have to be able to see it in your mind's eye before you even can follow, look at that, right? And so, but to even have, and this may be, I think that certain people struggle with this more than others even, but to have the boldness to say, I am worthy of this station or this accomplishment or this self-actualization in my life.
If you're watching this right now and you have doubts about your worthiness, I want to tell you, you are worthy. Dream, see bigger things for yourself, see things that you believe are unachievable. Because I've heard this, I'm not sure who said that, but if you aim for the moon, you're going to strike the eagle. If you aim for eagle, you're going to strike the stone. So aim for the moon. You may strike the eagle. And then the other 4 things that have helped you, may help you, is really looking at your skill set. And the skill set is not just your standard general education. It's really start diving into personal development, learning presentation, learning how to speak, learning how to carry yourself. Believing that you're an interesting person with a story and embracing your imperfections, embracing your whole story and being comfortable in your own skill. And then it really starts with time management. Where your time goes. If you're sitting watching Netflix every day, or, I'm not judging by no means, but if you're spending
I'm about to go crush something over the weekend.
And I tell my kids, my 13 years old is sitting playing games. I'm like, well, if you're going to sit and play games for the next 5 years, guess what? You're going to graduate. What you're going to do in your life. So it's where do you invest your time? And then it's energy, it's STEM, right? It's skills, time, energy, and money. So I've learned this from someone else. I have to find the lady's name. But I really felt it was important to see that your skill set, you constantly need to develop some skill set. You need to see where you spend your time, make an inventory, and you see what your energy is. Are you energetic? Are you enthusiastic about your life? Create something that you're energetic about. And then where's your money? If you're broke, hey, get it in order.
If you're broke, fix it.
It's your problem. Fix it. Nobody else gonna fix it for you.
I love this STEM thing. We put it down here in the banner. Skill sets always be honing that. It makes a lot of sense. The time thing is interesting, right? Where do you invest your time? Where are you sowing that time? That's probably what you're going to be reaping. Yes. The energy thing, I think, is so underrated because there's so many people that I run into who are searching for an opportunity. And I'm just going to be 100% honest with you, right? They give off a vibe like, woe is me, wah, wah. I call it Eeyore, right? Like from Winnie the Pooh, right? You remember Winnie the Pooh? There's different personality types. You got your Eeyores, like, wah, wah, woe is me. And then you got Tigger who's bouncing off the wall, right? And then you got Pooh who loves people and is loved back, but is kind of like, la-di-da, and Piglet's worried about her, so it's so interesting in these personality types, but if you're kind of an Eeyore, you got to realize Eeyore does not get the goodness of life. And there's a reason, and you got to really put out a lot better energy because that attracts good energy. A players want to be around A players. High energy people want to be around high energy people. You're an inspirational type of person. I'm an inspiration. We like each other for that reason. We vibe off each other. So, say you're someone out there who's watching this and they're struggling with their mindset and their energy right now.
Yeah.
And they're in a situation and they're stuck either in a job that they don't like or they're stuck without a job and they need one. And they're just low energy. How do you get that up?
Yeah, I have a story for you, and that may be helpful to someone. And I'm not going to name the names, but it's a real story. So, we've had two fantastic, amazing technicians on the site, on the power plant in one of the countries. Both of them are phenomenal, yet one of them is higher, much higher in the skill set, much higher in experience, much higher in knowledge and understanding and education. So from the skill set perspective, from going and getting the technical job done, he was like an A plus plus player. The other one is also hard worker, but maybe he was like B plus. It's like it was difference, a significant difference in the technical knowledge. And so both of them were given an opportunity to interview for a higher position, for a fleet position, so they can travel around and make things happen around the world. So it was a great opportunity for them, much better pay and things like that. So what the AA plus person was focusing on is how he saved the world and how bad everybody else around with him were, what bad decisions they were making, and that he was the one to figure it out, and that he was the one to actually fix this so and that so mistakes. And he is the one to be for that role. So that was his attitude, right? So he complained about others, and he's like, okay, I'm the one. Now the other came very humble, and he say, I'm here to support. I'm here to solve problems. I'm here to learn, and I'm here to add value to the company, and I want to be a team player. Right. And in addition to what that person did, he also built relationships with the other coworkers that had a buy-in and had a word to say who's going to get that position. Yeah. Well, guess who won it?
Yeah. I mean, who would you want to work with, right? The person who's a pleasant team player who gets buy-in versus the guy that's most likely to step in the room and start pointing the finger at you one day. I mean, we all know somebody like that. We all know somebody who's so smart and they prove it by telling you how dumb everybody else is.
So back to your question on the energy, I say find gratitude. For me, what really helped me being grounded is to look at things that I have, look at my healthy kids, and finding gratitude in small things. And I've read there is a system you could say, write 10 things about you're grateful for every day. Give grace to others, forgive. If you have offense for someone, if somebody offended you, and you carry this burden with you, oh, they offended me, or your company has let you go. Well, you know what? There's nothing personal. And it was interesting. I can tell you a little bit another story about layoffs. Okay. So the first encounter that I had in the layoffs, I was in the household goods moving industry. And it was horrific because I had no idea what the HR is about. I was just, counseling people, helping people move across the world, moving their belongings. It was a horrific experience. It was very personal. And I had 5 or 6 of colleagues that I worked with very closely being let go on that day. And I was the one they left. And it's very, very difficult, I think, for both parties. And then my second experience was when I was in HR and I was, executing, not directly, but indirectly being involved in that and seeing people released. I had a different perspective that, yes, there's some decisions that are being made, yet I can tell there's a lot of times the decisions are not being made very personal. And sometimes the person who is making decision may not even know you personally, may not even know what you've done for the company. And they're just looking at the numbers, as sad as they can be. But sometimes they're just looking at the numbers and say, we have to make those difficult decisions. And sometimes, you may be the one to be asked to go. And the last experience, I was the one just a couple days ago, right? So now, are you going to be a victim? Am I going to lay in bed and be, all like dreadful about it and being victimized about it? No, I say, I'm going to get up. I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to fix breakfast for my kids. I'm going to connect with people. I'm going to make things happen. I'm going to be cheerful and happy. So it's your choice, your choice.
Okay. All right. Time out. I gotta throw a flag on the play here. You're telling me there wasn't like a moment where you were like kind of pissed off, okay, I'm gonna go home, drink 2 bottles of wine, and like MF somebody?
Right away. There was moments I shared. There was moments of doubt. Okay. I thought, could I have done something? Could I have done something? But I want to give you this perspective from HR because not too many people tuning in have that HR experience. Is that having that experience in the back, with the HR department, you get a better understanding and you get a different perspective, and you say, okay, I don't have to beat myself with a stick. I don't have to negate myself. I don't have to devalue myself. I don't have to feel of myself less than. It is just a circumstance. Yes, there is sadness there. Yes, there's difficult feelings. Yet it is possible to stay positive and overcome.
Love it. Love it. Speaking of which, Nicole Barilli says, loving this talk and the positivity. Isn't that nice?
Oh,
Suzanne, hello, Janna. Always great to hear your thoughts and ideas.
thank you, Suzanne.
Mark Waller, gratitude is so important. Mark's just chiming in because I was giving his brother a hard time yesterday. Rory Ramirez, I love funny, energetic, and motivated coworkers. Rory, are you that coworker for other people? Just gonna leave that right there.
Be the light you want to see in others, right? Be
That's
the
it.
one you want to be surrounded with.
Henry says, Eeyore, thanks for noticing me. Yeah, interesting. Jennifer Anderson, great information, Janna. This is the perfect time for people to create their own opportunities. That's kind of goes back to that. Am I going to be a victim or am I going to be kind of an empowered person? Lynn Greenberg, hi, Janna and Ben, Pivot App, New York.
Hi, Lynn. Good to see you.
What's up, Lynn? All right, so Nicole has a question, and I'd love the questions. Please keep the questions coming. If you're somebody right now who's between opportunities, if you're looking to make a change, if you have been in this situation before, if whatever, please leave a comment and a question. Love it. Also, hit that like button, hit that heart button, and then let's get it going here.
Don't forget the share button. Don't forget the share button.
Hit the share button. So you see the arrow. You see the arrow next to it. Yeah. Do the arrow, share in a post, and then maybe put your favorite one-liner. Put your favorite little takeaway that Janna said.
Thank you.
Love to see that. And tag her too. Tag at Jonah Masik. Nicole Barilli says, Janna, what do you believe are some important leadership skills, especially during this volatile time? So yeah, we talked about STEM, right? We said STEM was skill set, time, energy, money. We talked about energy and depth, but going back to skill sets, what do you believe are some of the most important leadership skill sets, especially during this volatile time?
Yes, I did an entire broadcast on leadership skills 2 weeks ago, Nicole, and this is a really good question. Now, going to leadership, I think our perspective and what I've heard, people, how they use the word leader, is it almost like a director or CEO of the company, then he's a leader, and right now I don't have a title. Am I not a leader? Well, I'm a leader. First of all, to myself. So I believe the most important leadership skill is for you to realize that you are the leader to yourself and then to other people around you, no matter what title you have.
Can I stop you just for 1 second here? That really convicted me right there, what you just said, because I feel like I lead others a lot better than I lead myself sometime.
Yeah. And that's what I say, do like I preach, but don't look what I do, right? Don't look at me when I do.
Kids, right? Do what I say, don't do what I do, right? Exactly.
And it resonates so much as a parent. I think that our children are like a radar, right? I telling them, time to get off the screens. Come on, kids, get off the screens.
Yeah.
And then
meanwhile, we're like,
they're like, why are you on the phone, Mom? You told us to get off the screens. Why are you on the phone? I'm like, yeah. So it's becoming a leader, and then realizing, Nicole, that leadership is something that we can continuously develop. I don't believe it's, you got a title, you got a couple skills behind your back, and you're a leader for life. I do believe that it is a journey, like many things in our lives, and we can just get better and better at leading ourselves first, being accountable, having self-discipline, having self-control. And then when we become that person to ourselves, then we automatically will project that leadership, and other people are going to follow, not because we are leader, but because they're inspired. They're like, oh my gosh, how do you do this in your life? I want to learn from you. I want to know, what do you do? So I say, pick those people and find those people that you're really inspired about, the way they live their life, not just talk about it, but truly show up in their life. And then pick and watch. What is that they're doing, right? What is it? There's many books about, millionaire habits or these habits or those habits. I do believe that there's one thing that we can pick and say, okay, this month I want to work on one thing, and being consistent with it daily and say, okay, this month I want to get up early and do my 15-minute stretch, right? I cannot run every day, or I cannot go to gym every day, but I can take 15 minutes and I can stretch, or I can take 10 minutes and do a devotion, and maybe read some things that are inspiring to you. So it is developing this self-discipline. It's a first, I believe, and foremost importance.
I think that is brilliant, and I've not heard it articulated that way before, and so I applaud you. But you're right; it starts internally. It's self-discipline, because if you can't lead yourself, how are you going to lead others? Just like if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love others? And I think so often we think of leadership as, how do I affect change around these people? But then those people look at you like, hey, you're messed up. Like how, you got to fix you first, right? And so I think that is huge. Self-discipline. Oh my gosh, self-control. I mean, this, Janna, you're like making me emotional over here.
I'm working on it. I'm sharing with you guys. In no ways I'm saying, I'm someone here to teach you or whatnot. I'm sharing with you authentically what I'm learning every day, and I'm doing my best to implement to some degree, little by little. It's one day's mistake, one day's you dragging your feet, all day long, but then every day is brand new page. 365 pages in the book a year, and every day you're given a brand new page, blank page. What you as the author of your life want to write in this blank page?
Wow. Love it. Suzanne shared it. Love you, Suzanne, for that. Andrew shared it. Wow, people are like doing it. That's awesome. Hey, do it again. Share some more. If you hadn't shared it, share it again. Victoria, no, but I do. I love this. Share leadership skill number one, self-discipline. Share that. Let somebody know that, and tag me in it, because I need to hear it too. Janna, what you were saying before is we're not telling people what to do. We're telling people what we've discovered through ourselves, right? Like, this is like, I do these, people used to say to me all the time, like with the posts on LinkedIn, where do you like think of all this stuff to post on LinkedIn? I'm like, this is like the oh crap moments I'm having every day, and I just write it down and send it to y'all, because I'm just figuring this out too. I'm talking to myself half the time, most of the time, when I'm doing these posts. Victoria, hi Janna, good to see you. Hi Ben. Hey Victoria.
Hi Victoria, thanks for tuning in.
Royce, I asked Roy before if he's at coworker. He says, I'm hilarious. Always thinking of new ways or better ways to do things. Always trying to better myself. I've learned and picked up a lot from watching so many Love and Real shows. Thank you, Roy. That's very kind, man. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Janet equates what you're saying to be your own CEO, which is what author Judy Holler said. Michael Quigley says, Janna, that is exactly right. Love yourself before you can love others. Lead yourself before you can lead others. That was a big mistake I had early in my career. If we can just talk about it for a minute, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well, with, as far as leadership and everything. I've really struggled with leadership in my career, and I think it's because I was really focused on trying to get people to do things. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought like managing people was, getting people to do things, tricking them by crook or by hook, tricking them, writing them up, inspiring them, but then not following my own inspiration and advice. And it was terrible. And it's almost become something, honestly, in my mindset where I feel like I'm almost afraid to do it again, because I had such a kind of a traumatic experience with it when I was in my 20s. And I always thought I was like the smartest person in the room, kind of like your story earlier, right? And I was wondering why I would not get promoted to a leadership position. And only like now, here I am 37, I'm still kind of learning in this area. But I'm realizing like leadership really doesn't have anything to do with your IQ and how smart you are and how many facts you know and things like that. It has so much more to do with your maturity, your self-discipline, and things like that that really, frankly, do oftentimes come with age. And I think we underestimate the value of age and experience in that. What has been your leadership growth arc like? I mean, where did you start? Do you remember at a time where you were really bad at it, and like some of the early lessons maybe that you learned along the way? I love hearing early stories.
I can flip it a little bit from professional to personal, because we did promise that we're going to talk family here today as well. I believe that my biggest trainers were my children. And what you just described about tricking, coercing, figuring the plans,
It's a
we
lollipop.
do this exactly the same with the kids.
Yeah.
And it works to a certain extent. And then once because they're so much smarter than we are, and once they figure out the little button that can push, they just go full force for it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It is been such a learning journey that can impact you. If you do have children, take advantage of this training. It's free every day. If you don't have children, have children. They will train you every day. Okay. It's a free training. No, you don't have to pay. Well, you have to pay something, but really it's a great investment. Okay. It's going to train you for your life. And the funny thing is that the stages, and you can relate to that, stages different, right? It's just like as a parent, you just figure out, okay, I can do this with them. Then they grow out of this, and it's a completely different story. And, my mom's used to tell me, she's like, I'm calling her. I'm like, oh, I can't, it's too much. And she's like, well, little children, little problem, big children, big problem. Don't worry. Like, okay, you're preparing me for good things. So yes, and this comes back again to us trying to manipulate. And what I've been learning as a parent, something that I really admire, and the work that lady is doing. Her name is Dr. Becky Bailey. Her name is Dr. Becky Bailey, and she's in Orlando, Florida, and she created the entire curriculum. It's called Conscious Discipline. And what the basis of your curriculum is that if you try to coerce somebody, or if you try to, figure out the way, most likely things are not going to go the way you expect them. So, and she gave this fantastic story. She said, imagine there are two people on the sofa. They were married for 30 years. They're sitting on the same sofa. And if the relationship is not that great, they're kind of, I'm happy you're here, but, just watch your TV. So don't speak to me really. And one of them get up and go to the kitchen. And the other one say, well, can you go grab me something from refrigerator? And what the other one's going to say? Go get it yourself.
Get it yourself. Yeah. I think we've had this conversation.
Well, imagine you have the same two people on the same sofa for 30 years married, and they're great, they're romantic, they're holding hands, everything is passion is there, everything is perfect. And one gets up, go to the kitchen, and they're talking to each other and looking each other's eyes. He goes to the kitchen, and the other one says, can you go get me, a drink? I want kombucha. I tell my husband, I want kombucha. And what the other person's going to say? Oh, let me go get
honey,
it.
No problem.
And if everything is really, really good and connection is really there, he's going to say, well, let me go to the store and get it for you, honey. So that comes back to how connected you are. How connected you are with the people that are around you. And that comes to our family, to our children, to our spouses, to our loved ones, partners. And that comes to our colleagues in the professional role. How connected are we with those people? Do those people feel heard, understood, loved, and appreciated? Do they feel safe around you? And this is the foundation to say, feeling safe, feeling appreciated, feeling respected and loved, and they will open up. And then when they come to the center of the brain that functions the best, they're going to say, I'll go get kombucha for you. And work related, they're going to tell, I'm going to stay a couple hours and I'm going to finish this report for you because I know that you care and I know that I'm safe with you. And I know when something happens, I can always come to you and I can trust you. So that really been an eye opener to me in family life and in the work life.
I think safe is such an interesting concept too, because when I hear safe, my first thing I think is like physically safe, right? Am I safe? Well, of course you're safe. You're in an office. What could happen? But really what you're talking about is like emotionally safe. Can I be vulnerable and know that you're not going to, betray my confidence or use that against me, right? Can I trust that every day you're going to show up in the same way? Right. And I actually know what's going to come. You're not hot and cold, but you're even keel and you're reliable, emotionally reliable, not just physically on time every day for work, but are you emotionally reliable as a leader? I think, man, I think that's so interesting. It's so interesting. I got so much to say about it, but this is about you. I mean, this is great. I love this stuff. I wanted to I wanted to talk a little bit about work stuff just for a
Yes,
little bit, right? Just like
absolutely. Let's go
mobility
for it.
stuff, right? Because
Yeah.
there's people that be like, Ben, less love. I need more reload.
Yes, let's do
I'm
some
like, fine,
reload. Let's go
fine. You
for it.
get 10 minutes, John Zilka. You
Come
get
on.
10 minutes,
Let's jam
okay?
it.
No, but I wanted you to help us understand, because there's so many people that are watching this that are suppliers, right? Because that's all we do, sit around on LinkedIn all day. And then there's a few people that are corporate mobility managers that do the real work out there. I love just throwing these little jabs. But my point is, you've been on both sides. You've been on both sides. Which was your favorite side to be on?
I don't feel that there is a favorite. I feel that I've learned from both a lot.
Okay.
When I
What
came
did you learn from me? Like, yeah, okay.
when I
Compare
came to
them
the
maybe.
United States 14 years ago, I've had a background in global business and global logistics. That's my background that I brought into the country, and I put my CV together and I threw it to the first, recruiter in the town, and I got a call and I got a job in 2 weeks at Satis International. When I joined, it was a ton to learn about the industry, ton to learn about the moving household goods. I don't have to explain you all the details, you know them. There's so many nuances, so many aspects, and I loved it. And most of the things that I really loved is working with people globally, making impact in people's lives. And when you know that you're making impact, you're doing something extra that alleviate some of the stress and uncertainty for people. And then you hear people just like thanking you. I had a gentleman that we figured out the delivery the next morning when we just got a container in. I can tell you that story. He sent me flowers. It was really fantastic. I mean, I have so many stories back. I really treasure that experience. And then at some point, I think like all of us go in those phases, right? At some point I felt, okay, what else is out there for me? Is this what I've got? Is this for the rest of my life, or can I create something else? And then I decided I'm going to go and explore. And I was looking, do I go to relocation company? Do I go to DSP? So I was exploring the industry. And then I joined ERC in 2015. I got my CRP in 2016. And then I said, really, what my passion was to find out what it looks like on the other side, what it looks like on the corporate world, because I worked with a lot of RMCs and someone knew what the processes internally that they are, and then, learning how it all operates. But the mystery was somewhat, what does it look like on the other side? What does it look like on the corporate side? And that was really triggering to me.
Were you surprised? I'm sorry. Were you surprised at what you found when you crossed over to the good side, as some people might say?
It's not a good side. It's just the other side. Come on. Grass is not green on the other side. You never know. If you're happy where you are, grow and enjoy where you are. If you're looking for something else, grow and enjoy to grow there on the other side. But sometimes we feel, oh, there's much better over there. And we don't, appreciate what we have right in front of us. So I say the corporate world is a completely different perspective, completely different eye opener, a lot of HR related. And I feel the company was in a way a unicorn, so to speak. So it's not a traditional relocation with a lot of rotational assignments, a lot of short time type projects, and a lot of HR interactions. A part of it is a recruiting. So it was a lot of learning. What I enjoyed the most is the empowerment of making decisions and bringing suggestions, to know that you can research and then you can come to the business and say, you have this idea, why don't you look at this option? Why don't you look at that option? And why don't we consider this? And I feel this may be the best to go. And that is being respected. So I think that really helped me to grow in my confidence in knowing that I can figure things out of nowhere and bring some solutions to the table that are actually being heard and executed on.
That's great. Now you mentioned coming over to the US, getting a job in 2 weeks, and then you say, you know what, I want to be on the corporate side and see what that's all about. And you land a coveted corporate mobility job. I mean, how many people I talk to that say, oh, I want to go work on the corporate side, or maybe they've been at RMC, or maybe they're, coming from a corporate mobility role, and they got, let go or something happened, and they want to get back in that seat somewhere. And it seems to me as though there are fewer and fewer of those seats over the last 5, 10 years. How does
Yes.
someone get in that role, and what's
Yeah,
going on with that?
and we touched, I mean, one of the things we were thinking we're going to touch on is the future of the workforce, right?
Yeah.
Where are we all going? And if you look at it from that perspective, nobody has a crystal ball, but we can learn from some of the signs that we can all observe to our best capacity and do the best judgment we can make the best decisions we can make. So I feel that different companies going to adjust to different ways of doing mobility and relocation. And many companies, they fully outsource. They don't have any internal resources. Some companies, they do have internal resources, but now they're at a point, okay, what do we do with those internal resources? There's no visas in the US. Nobody's relocating in the US, right? What are we doing with all of these people? Well, we don't really need their services anymore, but then in 2-3 years, maybe they will need their services again. So this really is shaky situation, I think, for the entire industry, including corporate people. And I did have conversation with several corporate people that have been, taken out of equation and being asked to leave the company. Some gentleman I met with served the company for 30 years and his position been eliminated. So with that, I feel we need to broaden our skill set and we need to become more of get an ability to pivot and shift. And that comes back to the STEM, your skills, right? So if you only know the small part and all things you do is you're doing files and you're relocating people from point A to point B, and you don't have a bigger picture and you cannot really grasp the other things that come into equation to make things happen, it is going to be difficult for you to compete with a person that is very good versed in many aspects. They have different experiences. Now, what happens if you don't have those experiences? If you don't have those experiences, at least connect with someone that has these experiences and ask them for advice, ask them to maybe give you a mentorship, maybe find a way that you can support the person can support you, learn. ERC is a great organization. There's a lot of local chapters. They're, volunteer. Find the people you can learn from, absorb from, and grow yourself toward the direction of understanding a bigger picture. That strategic skill set many people are talking about, but they don't, like a lower level at workers. I think the entry level workers and maybe mid managers, they're not necessarily thinking that way. So you have to figure out where we're all going, what problems the companies are having, what problems the people are having, and how can we help solve those problems, and then you will be valuable.
So talking about the future of work, and I had a question actually from Worldwide ERC on this. They wanted a quote about the thoughts on the future of work. And we've been talking about this a lot because we are in workforce mobility. So what does the workforce look like and where does it go? What do you think about the future of the workforce and where does it go?
I feel there will be more fluidity in
That's
that.
exactly what I said, fluidity.
More fluidity. Because look at where we are right now. We're all working from home. So if I have someone working from home and executing all of the things that they need to execute, and there's little to no personal interaction, and this job can be outsourced anywhere in the world. And then it comes to say, okay, can I compete with someone in India? Well, maybe they do not have that level of expertise or that type of a skill set, but they can be trained. Or can I compete with someone in Brazil? Or can I compete with someone in Europe? So how do you work in positioning yourself and thinking not in just your small circle, but thinking globally? Because now this is more than before, we are going to be global. We are going to expand. There's going to be, I believe, more opportunities for freelancers, more opportunities for contractors. And even if you're out of job right now, go on Upwork.com, put some kind of whatever skills you have, put yourself as a freelancer, find the way to make an extra money doing some type of a project work. There's a lot of small businesses, entrepreneurs, they're hiring people, to do some type of a smaller project. This is a time for us to think about our job security is shaken very much, 35 million people, at the very least. So now how can we find another outlets and create some type of a skill set for ourselves to maybe work on a smaller contract while we're working for this stable job security again? So those are just some of my thoughts.
This has been great. This has been really, really eye-opening and enlightening and inspiring, Janna. You never disappoint. You always come through and deliver in a big way. People have I'm just looking at all the comments. Everybody's just loving it so much. And the fact that in the same week that you got thrown a curveball in life, you come through with so much positivity and so much help for everyone else, and you still find so much to give. It's just inspiring. And I thank you so much for doing this and being here with us today. Janna, before we thank you. And before we depart, I'd like to give you the opportunity just to leave us with a final thought, maybe for our audience today.
Yes, I would like to encourage you as you're listening and you're doubting yourself and you're considering your worth and you're considering what's next for you, right? Especially if you're out of job. I just want to encourage you. This is temporary. Get sober. Most importantly, think about your finances. Find a way to get yourself through and keep connecting. Right now, with 35 million people out of jobs, everybody's going to be applying. The companies for any positions are going to be flooded with applications. So you need to find a way to stand out. You have to be raised above the noise. And the way to do that for you to start reaching out, expanding your connections, expanding your network, and building those relationships, then people are going to say, oh, I know so-and-so, he's going to be perfect for this job. And that referral opportunity is going to give you so much more, I say, value than you randomly sending 50 applications all over the place. So do your work, be grounded, know your value, and keep connecting and reaching out and upskill so you can shine your best self.
Fantastic. So you heard it here first. Stay connected, stay active in the community. Appreciate you so much. Everybody that commented and left comments and left, these wonderful comments and these great questions and just had a lot of fun. A lot of people are having fun today and we're inspired. Thank you so much for getting involved. Thanks to the people that shared this. Please go ahead and share this. Go ahead and hit that like button. I see the hearts and everything fluttering up on the bottom here. People are just getting so much out of this content. Such a blessing, everyone.
Ben, I want to say, I do have a show tomorrow. So if you want to tune in at 11 a.m. on my page, LinkedIn page, or you can find me on YouTube as well, Jonah Masik. It is going to be at about how can you connect and how can you communicate better. And we're going to talk about different types of people. I'm bringing you an amazing person to share some of the good nuggets for you. So if you do think that it may be valuable to you, I would love for you to share tomorrow, to join in tomorrow.
Yeah, this sounds good. So it's 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. You can find it on Janna's page, on her LinkedIn page, Powering Unique You. It's a great show. If you like this, you'll love that. And, get involved, chime in tomorrow for Janna. I will make a note of it as well. So I will definitely chime in. This is great, Janna. Thank you so much for being with us
My
today.
pleasure. I hope everyone had fun this Friday. Have an amazing weekend, everyone.
It's so much